There are moments in life where logic fails, where witnesses swear they saw the impossible, and where every explanation only leads to more questions. Today we dive into 7 real mysteries that remain unsolved. No theories, no conclusions, just the facts and the unsettling silence that follows. If you think the world makes sense, you're about to rethink everything. Welcome into Horror Diaries, where every story is real and every whisper is true. These stories were investigated, documented, and still defy all logic. From disappearances without a trace, to events captured on video that experts still can't explain, to cases where entire towns witnessed something they were never supposed to see. Relax, turn off the lights as we delve in. Before we start, please press the subscribe button and like this video. Also, where are you from? And what time are you watching? Story number 1 begins with a simple night and ends with a mystery that still haunts investigators. Story 1: The mysterious disappearance of Dorothy Arnold. This is the story of Dorothy Arnold, a young socialite in New York City who vanished without a trace in 1910. Her case shocked the city, and it remains a mystery today. Dorothy Arnold, age 25, was the daughter of a wealthy Manhattan family. She was bright, charming, and admired in New York society. Friends described her as stylish, independent, adventurous, but Dorothy had secrets. She often wrote in her diary about wanting freedom and breaking away from the strict expectations of her family. December 12, 1910. Dorothy left her family's Fifth Avenue home around 11:30 a.m. She told her mother she was going shopping for books. She was seen leaving the house wearing a fur coat and carrying her purse. That was the last confirmed sighting. She never returned home. Her family reported her missing that evening. Police began searching. Her favorite bookstores, public libraries, local parks, train stations. Friends and neighbors helped too, but there were no clues. Oddly, Dorothy had taken none of the usual precautions. No note, no messages, no explanation for leaving for hours. Her disappearance was sudden and baffling. Investigators later discovered strange details. A large book of poems Dorothy had borrowed from a library was missing. Her diary pages were partly torn out. A letter to a friend was never sent. Some speculated she ran away. Others wondered if she had met with someone secretly. The family hired private detectives, but even they found nothing. Over the years, many theories have surfaced. Theory 1: runaway. Some suggested Dorothy wanted independence. She might have left the city to escape her wealthy, controlling family, but her clothes and money were left behind. She had no luggage or plans. She left her purse, which contained all personal items. It seemed unlikely she ran away completely. Theory 2: suicide. Suicide was considered. However, Dorothy loved life and social events. No evidence suggested she was depressed. No body was ever found. Theory 3: abduction. Some believe Dorothy was kidnapped. No ransom was demanded. No letters were sent. Witnesses reported nothing unusual near her home. The possibility remains, but there were no leads to follow. Theory 4: secret life diary entries hinted Dorothy wanted more freedom. Some historians speculate she may have had a secret lover or was planning to start a new life elsewhere, but there is no record of her boarding a train, ship, or leaving New York. Several months after her disappearance, a man claimed Dorothy had been seen working in another state. Another person said she was spotted in Europe. None of these sightings were confirmed. Even her father searched for years. He hired detectives, sent letters abroad, and checked hospitals. Nothing. Her disappearance became one of the most famous cold cases in New York City. Dorothy Arnold's case is still studied today. She was a young, independent woman. She vanished without warning. No evidence explained her disappearance. The mystery inspired books, articles, and even discussions in true crime forums online. Her story remains a warning. Even in a city full of people, someone can disappear and leave no trace behind. To this day, no one knows what happened to Dorothy Arnold. Did she run away? Was she kidnapped? Did she meet a tragic fate unknown to anyone? Or did she start a completely new life in secret? Her fate is still unknown over 110 years later. Dorothy Arnold walked out of her family home one December morning and vanished into history. No footprints, no belongings, no explanation. Her disappearance remains one of the most baffling, unsolved mysteries in New York City history. Sometimes, even in a city filled with people and activity, someone can vanish completely, and the world may never know what happened. A reminder that reality can be stranger than fiction. and some mysteries remain unsolved forever. Story 2. The Hotel Elevator Mystery. Some deaths are unexplained. This is the story of Elisa Lam, a 21-year-old Canadian student who was last seen alive in Los Angeles, California, and later found dead in a way that shocked the world. It all began at the Cecil Hotel, a building known for its dark history. January 2013, Elisa arrived in Los Angeles staying at the Cecil Hotel. She was young, adventurous, and loved to travel. Her parents described her as responsible, thoughtful, and a bit introverted. She planned to stay a few days before moving to her next destination. But within a week, things started to go wrong. On January 31, 2013, Elisa was reported missing by hotel staff. She had been behaving strangely, but nothing alarming at first. Staff noticed she would linger in the lobby. She pressed elevator buttons repeatedly. She seemed to talk to herself. Security cameras captured her in the hotel elevator, but the footage was strange. The video shows Elisa entering the elevator. She presses multiple buttons, then she looks around nervously. She steps out and back in several times. Her hands move in odd gestures. She peers out the elevator door and eventually crouches as if hiding or talking to someone. The doors close, she disappears from view. The footage is haunting. It went viral online, millions of people analyzing it. No one could explain her movements. After she was reported missing, police and hotel staff searched the building. They checked every room, every hallway, every stairwell. No sign of her. Days passed. Her belongings were found untouched in her room. Her wallet, passport, and phone were all present. It was as if she had vanished into thin air. On February 19, 2013, after 2 weeks of searching, maintenance workers entered the hotel's rooftop water tanks. They found her body, floating in a water tank. The tank was 14 feet above the ground, inside a locked room on the roof of the hotel. Her death was ruled accidental drowning by the coroner. But the circumstances were bizarre. How did Elisa Lam get into the water tank? The roof doors were locked. The tanks were covered and heavy. It would have been nearly impossible for one person to open them alone. No one reported seeing her enter the roof. No evidence suggested anyone helped her. Her behavior in the elevator was the only clue. People speculated. Was she hallucinating? Was someone following her? Was it foul play? Theories multiplied. The internet exploded with speculation. Some suggested mental health issues. Elisa had a history of bipolar disorder, which may have caused erratic behavior. Paranormal activity. The Cecil Hotel had a history of suicides and murders. Some believed the building trapped her. Kidnapping or foul play. Some thought she may have been lured to the rooftop. Faux or supernatural influence. Because of the elevator video and her odd gestures, some online theorists imagined she was communicating with something unseen. None of these theories were confirmed. The Cecil Hotel was not a safe place. Richard Ramirez, the infamous Night Stalker, lived there in the 1980s. There were multiple suicides reported in the hotel. The hotel had a reputation for crime, including murders and overdoses. Elisa's death only added to the dark legacy. The Los Angeles Police Department concluded, cause of death, accidental drowning. Contributing factors, bipolar disorder and possible psychotic episode. They stated there was no evidence of foul play. Still, questions remained. Why was the water tank door open? How did a 5'2" woman climb inside without help? Why did the elevator video show her behaving so strangely? These unanswered questions fueled the mystery. Elisa Lam's story became a worldwide phenomenon. The elevator footage went viral on YouTube. Millions of viewers analyzed her gestures. Fans debated whether she was scared, hallucinating, or communicating with someone, or something. The hotel was later rebranded to distance itself from the tragedy. Her death remains a cautionary tale about mental health, about the dangers of isolation, about how ordinary places can hide extraordinary mysteries. Elisa Lam's disappearance and death remain one of the most bizarre and haunting cases of the 21st century. A young woman disappeared in a hotel. Her last movements were recorded on security cameras. She was found in a water tank days later. No one can fully explain her behavior. No one can explain how she got there. No one can answer the questions left behind by the strange elevator footage. Her story is a true mystery, and it continues to intrigue, terrify, and haunt people around the world. Even today, when you see a hotel elevator or think about hidden corners of buildings, her story reminds us. Sometimes reality is stranger than fiction, and some mysteries remain unsolved. Story 3. The Passenger Who Vanished. A story based on actual highway patrol logs from Arizona in the United States. Even today, drivers whisper about it, passing the story on like a warning. It was just after midnight when a long-distance bus rumbled along a quiet desert highway. The road stretched endlessly ahead, surrounded by dark, empty sands. Above, the night sky shimmered with stars, untouched by city lights. The only sound was the soft, rhythmic hum of the bus engine, cutting through the desert silence. Inside the bus, the few passengers slept quietly, their faces dimly lit by the faint glow of the overhead lights. But one passenger, a young woman traveling alone, could not sleep. She sat near the back, clutching a small backpack to her chest. Her eyes darted constantly to the darkness outside the window, as if something or someone was following her. The bus driver remembered her clearly because of the strange question she asked him. "Does this bus stop near the old gas station, the one with no lights?" He had nodded, answering yes. Relief washed over her face, but it was fleeting. Even as the bus carried her forward through the empty desert, she whispered to herself almost inaudibly, "He can't find me here." Hours seemed to stretch as the bus moved silently along the highway. Finally, the vehicle approached the abandoned gas station. It was exactly as she had described: no lights, no sound, no movement at all. The driver brought the bus to a stop. The woman rose, thanked him quietly, and stepped onto the cracked pavement. The desert wind whipped around her as she disappeared into the darkness. The driver waited, expecting someone to meet her, but the night swallowed her whole. No one came, no sound, no trace. Later, at the next town, the driver checked the passenger list as he always did. But her name was nowhere to be found, her ticket non-existent, and the security camera on the bus showed something far more disturbing. The footage displayed the passengers, the empty seats, but the young woman. She had never been there. Police scoured the gas station and surrounding desert. No footprints, no backpack, no trace of her at all. Some locals speculated she had been running from someone. Others whispered she was something else entirely. A spirit, perhaps, wandering the place where her life had ended. And the most unsettling part? Every year drivers report seeing her, standing alone on that same deserted road, waiting for a bus she never really boarded. So tell me, if you were driving down that lonely desert highway, would you stop for her? Story 4. The Reincarnation Case of Cameron. This is the true case of Cameron Macaulay, a boy from Scotland. When Cameron was just 2 years old, he began talking about a place he had never visited. An island, a white house, a black and white dog, and a family that wasn't his. He said the island was called Barra. He spoke about it every day, not like a dream, but like memories. He told his mother, "I lived there before I came to you." At first, she thought it was just imagination, but Cameron kept giving details. He said his old house had 3 bathrooms. He said it overlooked the beach. He talked about planes landing near the house. He even claimed he had another mother, and her name was Sheila. One day he said, "I miss them. I miss my family." His mother finally reached out to researchers who study past life memories. They agreed to take Cameron and his family to the island of Barra, a place Cameron had never seen in his current life. After hours of travel, they reached the island. As soon as Cameron stepped off the boat, he smiled. "I'm home." They drove across the island, searching for a house like the one he described. Then Cameron pointed at a building near the water. "That's it, that's my house." The house was real. White walls facing the beach, just like he said. The researchers spoke with locals. Years ago, a family lived there. They had a black and white dog, and the owner of the house had a wife named Sheila. Every detail Cameron shared was true. But the strangest part came later. When asked about how he died in his past life, Cameron looked down and whispered, "I fell." And he never said more. As Cameron grew older, the memories slowly faded away, like someone closing a book he once remembered by heart. To this day, no one can explain how a child described a house, a family, and a life he had never seen. Was it imagination or proof that memories can survive death? If you're still watching, that means you feel it too. The curiosity, the darkness, the mystery. Stay with me. Let's go deeper. Story 5. The Missing Camper. The Mystery of Geraldine Largay, also known as the Stranger in the Woods case. This one happened in the woods, in a place where getting lost should not be possible, because the woman who vanished disappeared just 100 feet from a popular hiking trail with dozens of hikers walking past her every day. Her name was Geraldine Largay, but everyone called her Jerry. This is a true mystery, and even after search teams combed the forest for 2 years, the final discovery only raised more questions. On July 21, 2013, Jerry was hiking the Appalachian Trail, a famous walking path that stretches from Georgia to Maine. Thousands of hikers travel it every year. She was 66 years old, kind, positive, always smiling. She hiked slowly, but she loved every step. Her husband supported her. Every night she would text him her location. He would drive ahead, stop at the next meeting point, and wait for her. They had a system, a perfect routine. Nothing seemed wrong. On the morning of July 22nd, Geraldine said goodbye to other hikers at a shelter. She told them, "See you at the next checkpoint." She walked away with her backpack. The weather was clear, the trail was easy. Multiple hikers saw her walking. A group even took a photo of her. That was the last confirmed sighting. Just 2 miles later, the trail curved. A small side path led into the woods. That tiny mistake changed everything. At 11:07 a.m., Jerry tried to send a text message to her husband. It said, "In some trouble, going off trail to go to the bathroom. Lost." The message never went through. There was no signal. In the next 3 hours, she moved deeper into the forest. She tried to find the trail again. She failed. Her phone showed she attempted to send 7 text messages. None were delivered. She kept walking. No one saw her. That evening, her husband waited at the meeting point. She did not arrive. He waited all night. The next morning, he notified the authorities. By afternoon, over 200 searchers were in the forest. Helicopters, tracking dogs, volunteers, professional hikers, thermal cameras. No sign of Jerry. The strange part? She had camping experience. She knew survival basics. She had food, water, and a working phone. Searchers found footprints, but rain washed them away. They found broken branches, but not enough to track direction. They found no clothing, no backpack, no sleeping bag. It was as though the forest swallowed her. Most people thought she died quickly, but phone records showed something terrifying. Her phone continued to try connecting to towers for 26 days. 26 days. That means she stayed alive, lost and alone for almost a month. Still no one found her. In October 2015, 2 years after her disappearance, a forestry worker was exploring an area far from the normal trail. He noticed a collapsed tent covered by leaves and branches. He opened it. Inside the tent was a sleeping bag. Inside the sleeping bag were remains. It was Geraldine. Her backpack was neatly packed. Her boots were placed beside her. Her phone and journal were carefully stored. She had not panicked. She did everything correctly, and yet no one found her. She was only 0.4 miles, around 600 meters, and from the trail, less than a 10-minute walk. Every day, search teams walked near her camp. Every day, she may have heard voices, yet no one heard hers. Her journal was inside her backpack, dry, readable. She wrote the date and one sentence about her condition. The first entry confirmed she was lost. The next entries showed she tried to find a clearing. She tried to send messages. She tried to stay positive. But it was the final pages that broke people's hearts. "When you find my body, please tell my husband and daughter how much I love them." Searchers had walked right past her camp. Helicopters had flown directly over it. How was she not seen? There was someone else in the woods. Here are the facts. Jerry texted for help. Her phone tried to connect for 26 days. She survived long enough to write final messages. She set up her tent in a perfect open space. Searchers walked past her but never saw her. To this day, experts cannot explain how 200-plus searchers, dogs, helicopters, and drones missed a bright tent in a clearing. And one question remains. If her tent was always there, how did the search teams not see it? Some say it was human error. Some say the forest hid her. Some believe someone found her and left. Geraldine Largay disappeared only minutes from a major hiking trail. She had supplies, she had a working phone, she had a clear campsite. But something or someone kept her hidden. Even now, hikers report hearing a woman calling for help, a tent they can't find twice, footsteps following them, a whisper that says, "Over here." There is no answer. Only the mystery of a woman who vanished in a place where no one should vanish. Jerry never made it out of the wood, but her story still echoes among the trees. Story 6. The disappearance of the lead masks. Two men climbed a hill wearing formal suits, carrying lead masks, the kind used to block radiation, and were later found dead. No struggle, no wounds, no cause of death, just two bodies lying side by side and a cryptic note with instructions. This is a true mystery known as the lead masks case. Augusto 20, 1966, Niterói, Brazil. A boy flying a kite noticed something unusual on a grassy hill. Two bodies side by side, motionless. Police arrived. What they found still confuses investigators today. The men wore formal dress suits, waterproof raincoats, and thick lead masks covering their eyes. Not carnival masks, not costume pieces. Masks designed to block radiation. There were no injuries on either man. No signs of a struggle, no weapons. Just two dead bodies and a small mysterious note. The men were identified as Manuel Pereira de Cruz, age 32, Miguel Jose Viana, age 34. Both were electronics technicians. They repaired televisions and radios for a living. Friends described them as intelligent, gentle, curious about science. They were also interested in something else, UFOs. Co-workers said they talked about energy, lights in the sky, and secret communication. They believed contact with something beyond Earth was possible, and they wanted proof. 3 days before their bodies were found, Manuel and Miguel left their small town. They told their families, "We are going to buy supplies for work." They took enough money to purchase electronic parts. They boarded a bus to Rio de Janeiro. Witnesses remember them as calm, focused, not nervous. But here is where the story turns strange. Instead of buying tools or parts, the men purchased 2 raincoats, a bottle of water, and 2 thick sheets of lead. At a store, they had the lead cut into mask shapes, masks that covered only their eyes. They carried those masks in a small bag. Later, a waiter at a restaurant remembered them. They sat quietly, barely spoke. Looked anxious. Miguel checked his watch constantly. At 4:30 p.m., they climbed the hill. Alone, alive. Next to the bodies, inside a notebook, investigators found a single page. This is what it said: 1630. Be at the location. Pharmaceutical ingest capsules. After effect, protect metals. Await signal mask. No one knows what capsules means. No capsules were found. Protect metals made sense. Lead masks protect against radiation. But await signal? A signal from where? A signal from whom? An autopsy should have answered everything, but it didn't. Why? Because of delays, the bodies were too decomposed to analyze properly. No toxicology tests were completed. No stomach contents examined. So today, we still don't know. If they took drugs, if they were poisoned, or if they died from natural causes. Their families begged for answers, none came. Police discovered that the 2 men had performed dangerous experiments before. Neighbors heard explosions behind their workshop. Smoke filled the air. They tested devices they believed connected with energy fields, frequencies, and possibly extraterrestrial life. One friend said, "They told me they were going to meet something on that hill." Other witnesses reported strange lights in the sky on the exact night they disappeared. Bright, silent, hovering. Some believe the men expected a UFO. The masks to protect their eyes from the light, the capsules, maybe to calm themselves and were to prepare for contact. Did they expect to be taken? If so, who left them there? And why didn't the bodies show signs of exposure, burns, or radiation? Some investigators believe they were fooled. Brazil had several spiritual movements during the 60s. Groups that mixed science, mysticism, and UFO beliefs. Some groups used meditation drugs to open the mind. Were the men manipulated by someone who promised a transcendent experience? Did they truly believe the masks protected them from something they would see in the sky? Or did they believe that the capsules would transport them somewhere else? The police closed the case, officially labeling it no clear cause of death. 2 men walked up a hill, wearing formal suits and lead masks against their eyes. They waited for a signal. They waited for something. No one knows what. To this day, no explanation fits every detail. And the questions remain: why lead masks? Why raincoats? Why capsules? Why a hill overlooking the city? And what signal were they waiting for? The lead masks case remains one of the most disturbing real mysteries on record. 2 men went up a hill looking for contact. Instead, they found death together, side by side, as if they believed, until the very last moment, and that something was going to appear in the sky. Was it science? Was it manipulation? Or did they meet something we cannot explain? Sometimes the truth is stranger than anything we could imagine. Story 7. The pilot who vanished while chasing a UFO. The Frederick Valentich case on October 21, 1978. Australia. A young pilot named Frederick Valentich, only 20 years old, rented a small aircraft in a Cessna 182. He filed a flight plan, Melbourne, King Island. A short trip, easy flying, perfect weather. Frederick was not an amateur. He had logged over 150 hours of flight time. He was calm. He was serious about flying. At 6:19 p.m., he took off from Moorabbin Airport. He had no idea his voice would be recorded during one of the most frightening aviation mysteries ever documented. For roughly 45 minutes, everything was fine. Frederick flew toward the open ocean, the sun dropping lower behind him. He kept his radio on Melbourne air traffic control frequency. He checked his instruments, he checked his route. Everything was silent. Then at 7:06 p.m., he pressed his radio button. Melbourne, this is Delta Sierra Juliet. I have an unidentified aircraft following me. The air traffic controller replied, "Describe the aircraft." Frederick said, "It seems to be playing some sort of game. It's flying over me, and it's not an aircraft, not an aircraft." The controller asked him to confirm. Frederick repeated, "It's not an aircraft." His voice was calm but tight, focused. Frederick described what he saw. "It has 4 bright lights, it's long, it's shiny, it is flying at high speed." He said the object passed directly above him. Frederick turned his plane to get a better look. The object turned too, he tried climbing. The object climbed too. This was not a weather balloon, not a commercial aircraft, not a military plane. It was following him, he reported. "It seems to be stationary. I'm orbiting around it, then it's orbiting me as well." This statement shocked air control. Aircraft do not orbit other aircraft unless controlled by a pilot. But Frederick insisted, "It is hovering, and it's not a plane." Minutes passed. Air control asked, "Can you identify the aircraft?" Frederick answered, "It's not an aircraft." His voice started to shake. Suddenly he said, "It's approaching me from the southwest." Pause, "It's elongated." Then, "What is this aircraft?" He sounded confused. Then something bizarre. "It's shiny, metallic. It has a green light. That detail is important." Multiple witnesses on the ground that same evening reported seeing a strange green light moving erratically over the water. Different people, different locations, same story. At 7:12 p.m., Frederick said, "My engine is rough idling." He sounded worried. "What are your intentions?" the controller asked. Frederick replied, "My intentions are to go to King Island, Melbourne. That strange aircraft is hovering on top of me again." A second later, the radio picked up a long metallic scraping sound described by technicians as electronic, not mechanical. Then Frederick spoke his last words. "It's not an aircraft." Silence, no crash detected, no mayday call, no more radio. Only the strange metallic noise. Then the signal ended. Frederick Valentich and his plane disappeared. The same night, Navy ships, military aircraft rescue teams all searched the ocean. They searched the coastline, they searched the sky. They expected to find floating wreckage. But there was nothing. No fuel slick, no seat cushion, no metal, no body. His plane had vanished completely. This was not a rumor, not a legend. This communication was recorded officially by air traffic control. The audio exists. Investigators listened to the tape over and over. Experts agreed. The sound at the end was not engine noise. It was not wind. It was not radio static. It was mechanical, rhythmic, deliberate. Frederick was not lying. He was not hallucinating. Something was there. Theory 1, pilot error. Some people say Frederick became disoriented and crashed into the ocean. Theory 2, he faked his death. Theory 3, UFO encounter. This is the theory most people whisper. Investigators from the Australian Department of Transport concluded the reason for the disappearance of the aircraft is unknown. That statement is the official government record. In 1983, 5 years after the disappearance, an engine cowling washed up on a beach. Experts confirmed it matched the same model as Frederick's plane. It was damaged in a way that suggested it was forced downward, not crashed from pilot error. Almost like something pushed it down. Frederick Valentich vanished into the sky while chasing, or being chased by, something he could not explain. His final words remained chilling. "It's not an aircraft. No body, no plane, no answer. Just a young pilot and a mystery in the dark Australian sky. If you made it this far, you're one of the brave ones. Like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications, and because more true horror drops every night, sleep if you can.